Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to the Coach's Cafe with your girl, Coach Regina, on this Figured Out Friday. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. And so we have a very good conversation that we're going to have this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about the role chronic stress plays. Well, really, the hidden role that stress plays in chronic diseases. We know the numbers in terms of high blood pressure, diabetes, elevated cholesterol, as well as weight gain. And so today, starting in the month of March, we're going to be shifting and having conversations around what I'm going to term is not my term, but we're going to be talking about integrated health. How do you integrate these things that we're learning about our health from a biological, physical standpoint and a behavior standpoint? A lot of times we want to focus on the three things: the diet, exercise, and medication. But there is more to shifting your lifestyle and shifting the things that is impacting your health than just diet and exercise. So if it's your first time joining me, my name is Regina L. Lacking, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and an integrated health behavior specialist, the plant-based boss. I'm going to go ahead and tell you so you have no guesswork in who you're going to be having conversations with, who you are sharing your morning with, and your time. And if you're catching the replay, you're going to know who I am. BABA simply stands for, and drop it in the comments, becoming a well soul every day. That's my aim in my communication, is that how do we as a society become a well soul every day, particularly as it comes to navigating our health. And so I help people understand the behavior and lifestyle factors that influence chronic disease. And so a lot of times, what in my experience, let me say, in my experience, people are told they have a new condition or new diagnosis, and people find that it is difficult to make lifestyle transitions. It is difficult to make changes in life, particularly when you thought you was doing all the things that you were supposed to be doing. And sometimes we're doing all the things, and that gets frustrating. It gets very frustrating when you're doing all the things that you've been encouraged to do as it relates to my diet, as it relates to me exercising, as it relates to me, good morning, as it relates to, you making some shifts with your nutrition. So this month, we're going to focus on something many people overlook when you're navigating health concerns. If you are joining for the first time, this is Coach Regina, licensed clinical social worker and your health behavior specialist. Okay, you're a health behavior specialist. Just a little bit about me for those who don't know. I have a history of having borderline high cholesterol, and I have been navigating that journey over years now. Shout out to Dr. Kimberly Smash, as well as I was carrying excess weight. And so those two things, coupled with the fact that I thought I was doing all the things, y'all, and found out there were some other things that I needed to do to better navigate my health. And so because of my own results and because of the lifestyle that I live, and because I know that if it's preventable, then it's reversible, then that's why I pull up in this space as your health behavior specialist to share the same information with you so that you too can become a well soul every day, right? And so share this out with those in your community. I'm gonna take a second to myself. Good morning. Hey, TT Ross, thank you for joining. I'm gonna take a moment myself and share this out. And if you would do me a solid this morning, if you would go ahead on and share this out so that we can get into this conversation today. And thank you all for joining from all over. I see Jackson, Mississippi in the house. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get further into this conversation. Share on your platforms. I'm pulling up on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I am on LinkedIn this morning for the very first time, as well as my YouTube channel, Doing Life Well with Regina. So we're talking about how stress shows up in our chronic health conditions. Most people think stress and they have this idea that, okay, I'm stressed out. These are my emotions. I'm going through this, very stressful situation. And we only associate stress with good morning. We only associate stress with our emotions. And the truth about it is, stress is more than just your emotions. Stress is actually a physiological response in the body. Type in the comments, stress is more than my emotions. I want to make sure you catch this. I want to make sure you're getting this. And if you know someone who is managing a health condition, high blood pressure, diabetes, carrying excess weight, good morning, T. I want you to share this with them. If you know someone who is navigating a chronic health condition, because like I started out in the conversation, we tend to think, and we're doing the things. We're doing it. I've changed my diet. I no longer eat all this fried food. My cholesterol still not moving. The scale won't move. I stopped eating bread. The scale still won't move. I might as well go back to doing what I was doing. I've heard it all. I have heard it all. I went to the doctor. I got this new diagnosis. What you mean I'm high blood pressure? So I have heard it all. And I want us to understand there is a hidden factor that we don't pay attention to that we walk through every single day. Most people walk through some levels of stress, but we underestimate the power of stress. Type that in the comment. We underestimate the power of stress, or you can just say stress can have power. And in this conversation today and going forward, I'm going to invite you to take your power back. Type in the comments, I'm taking my power back. Stress will no longer have the power. Thank you for joining. Stress will no longer have the power over my life, over my decisions, especially over my chronic health condition. If you are navigating a chronic health condition. Now, a couple of things when you pull up with your girl. I start my morning off. This is lemon water, hot lemon water. And I always invite you to start your day hydrating. Freebie on a Friday. Start your day with hydration and not with tea and not with coffee. Start your day with water, okay? All right. And so today, I want you to understand that most people think that stress is just emotional. Oh, I just got all these. I'm just so stressed out. And I get that. But here's the truth. Stress is physiological. And if we don't address this thing, it can quietly worsen any kind of condition that we have. So like high blood pressure, it will make your high blood pressure even worse. If you have diabetes, chronic stress, if not addressed, will exacerbate your condition. If you have heart disease, if you see that the scale is not moving, but you're doing the things, check your stress. Type in the comment, let me check my stress. Okay, check my stress. I want y'all to check your stress. And so if you know someone navigating a chronic health condition, go ahead on and share this with them, because I guarantee this conversation is going to help you and those who are navigating high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and excess weight. If you gain weight or a scale is not moving, you want to be in this conversation today. So let's start with this part. It's a biological event. Stress is not just an emotion. I want you to make sure you understand it. Type that in the comments if you have not done so already. Stress is not just a biological event. It's not just a feeling. It is a biological event. Sorry about that, y'all. It's not just an emotion. It's not just a feeling. You don't just feel stress. There is something actually happening in your body. And let me tell y'all, when stress happens in the body, check this out. You're looking at your cortisol. Your body releases cortisol and it releases adrenaline. And if you know anything about adrenaline, these are hormones that prepare the body for survival. Now, if you stressed out, if you're in a stressful state all the time, ultimately you're saying your body is in survival mode all the time. We are not. Y'all, we're not designed to be in survival mode all the time. And so that's what happens in the body. I'm just going to try to make it plain and simple. Two things happen. Two hormones are released in your body, and it puts you in survival mode all the time. Nobody is supposed to be in survival mode all the time. Type that in the comments. I'm not supposed to be in survival mode all the time, which means I'm not supposed to be under these conditions that produce stress all the time. Let me help you out. If we don't address this stress and understand that it's not just a feeling, it's not just a state of mind, that your body actually releases cortisol. Cortisol increases inflammation, right, in the body. Over time, guess what can happen? If we don't check this stress level, okay, whatever is causing you stress, if you don't check and address these stress levels, your blood pressure will go up. I don't care how you pay attention to your nutrition. If you don't address chronic stress, your blood pressure will stay out of whack. Your blood sugar will stay out of whack. For those who are struggling with type 2 diabetes, it's not just, I'm eating all this sugar. No, sir. No, ma'am. Check your stress level. If you don't address chronic stress, it can lead to inflammation. If you don't check chronic stress, it can lead to deprived sleep. Like if you go to sleep and you don't stay asleep, you just wake back up all throughout the night. What are you thinking about? What's robbing you of your sleep? What's robbing you of your sleep? Something is robbing you of your sleep because you're thinking about it subconsciously. Okay. And so over time, if you don't address chronic stress, again, type this in the comments. Chronic stress is not a feeling. Chronic stress is not a feeling. Y'all still with me? Type it in the comments if you're still with me. Chronic stress is not a feeling. Over time, it can lead to increased blood pressure, increased blood sugar, inflammation, disrupted sleep, weight gain. I don't care how much you shift your nutrition, do a little extra movement. Let me just go ahead and address this because that's what I'm going to do. Even if you are out here on pills, powder, procedures, and or injections talking about weight loss and you don't address chronic stress, you're not going to lose any weight. Wegovy will not help you if you're not dealing with your stress. If you're not dealing with the undergirding issue, you can take them pills all day. You ain't going to lose no weight. You can pay that $195 a week and you're still going to be carrying that excess weight. Ask me how I know. I've had people to reach out to me that's on the medications and say, how much you charge? Because I'm paying them cash money, $195, and I ain't lost no weight. What else is going on in your life? It's not just diet and exercise. So when someone tells you, they look at you or they're having a conversation with you and they're like, you know what? You may want to think about reducing your stress in your life. That's not a soft suggestion. It's really a medical recommendation because it's physiological, because stress impacts your systems. Stress impacts your blood pressure, your blood sugar. That's the first thing I want y'all to understand. Stress is biological and it impacts your chronic health conditions. That's number one. Type that in the comments. Stress is biological. It is biological. Now, I understand if you have a new diagnosis, let's say you've been stressed out, you got a new job. Okay, that may come with a level of stress. You got that little period of time where you're navigating, you're learning all this new information. You want to make sure you pull up and do the right thing, or you got this new beautiful relationship and you're stressed out about how this thing gonna work out, or you got to make some big decisions about buying a house, about selling a house. Those type of stresses tend to be short term. There's a difference in chronic stress, which is over 90 days, over 3 months. If you've been dealing with something over 3 months, we need to evaluate that thing because it is going to impact your health. Type that in the comments. If I am dealing with a life matter, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a workship, whether it is a situationship, or whether it's something about a house, your kids, whatever. If you are navigating something that's causing you stress, which is a physiological response is going to take place. If you navigating that thing over 90 days, that's chronic stress. Our bodies were not designed to be in a state of survival that long. If we do, make sure you start checking your blood pressure. Why is my head hurting? Why do I feel fatigued? It is a physiological response to the lack of making some adjustments. So let's have this conversation right here. Number one, we understand that stress is not just a feeling. That's the first thing I want you to understand. It is a biological response. Two hormones are released when you are stressed out: cortisol and adrenaline. All right. And so this is why lifestyle changes can be so hard when you're navigating chronic health. Like, again, it's not just diet, exercise, and it's not just diet, exercise, and medication. You get on this, you get a new diagnosis, you get placed on medication, or you have a diagnosis and they're constantly adjusting your medications because they don't know what to do with you. Like, you report what you're eating, you report, now, you know what, doc, I've been moving. They're going to ask you what's going on in your life. So here's the thing. Lifestyle changes feel difficult for many people when you're trying to navigate these conditions like high blood pressure, like making these lifestyle changes. If your body is in, type this in the comments, if my body is constantly in survival mode, these are some natural things that's going to happen. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, if you've ever had this to happen in your life. If you are in survival mode, if you are always in a stressful state, are you, number one, craving high sugar foods or eating high sugar foods? Eating high fat, quick snack foods, whatever you get your hands on. I stress, people tend to tell me that they stress eat. And I understand that. I hear what you're saying. Your body is responding. So if your body is in constant survival mode, producing these two hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, high sugar foods are going to be on high alert for you. High fat foods are going to be on high alert for you. Quick energy sources, because you're going to be fatigued and you're going to be tired. These are what we call comfort things. In our mind, these things quickly comfort us, right? So let me offer you this. Because it's difficult to make changes when you've been functioning away for quite a long time. It's not that you have lack of discipline. And I've heard that so many times. Oh, they just don't have no discipline. They just, if they would just practice more discipline, then they can get their weight under control. If they could practice more, it's not about discipline. Again, I want to reiterate to y'all that it is a biological response. It is a biological, it is biology. It is not just lack of discipline. Many people, and they share this, many people really feel ashamed when they struggle with these lifestyle changes. But oftentimes, I want you to hear me and hear me good, that the real issue is not that you lack discipline. It's not that you lack discipline. It's not that you're not consistent. But oftentimes, the real issue is unmanaged stress patterns. We do not count the cost of stress. I'm going to say that again. We do not count the cost of stress. So let me share something that I've observed when working with people when people come to me as a behavior health specialist, as a coach in a behavior health, especially working with people who are navigating what they see as a weight issue. But when we get into these conversations, there are some lifestyle things that have not been addressed over time. And so no matter what they've done, because they tell me, I've tried everything and can't move this thing. Here's the deal. Many individuals focus on, and correct me if I'm wrong, you focus on diet and exercise. And I used to be that person too, raising my hand over here. I used to just focus on diet and exercise. I got to Let me make sure my nutrition is shifting, because when I was borderline high cholesterol I'm paying attention to my nutrition, right? I am reading ingredients and not just the labels. I'm paying attention to my activity. When I say activity, I'm not saying to you, go join the gym. Nope. Turn on that YouTube video and get them moving. Turn on your radio and get them moving. While you in the kitchen, get them moving. Move those feet, work those arms, do some calisthenics. When I say movement and activity, I was just focusing on diet and exercise. Diet and exercise. Diet, not when I say diet, I'm not talking about a 3-month anything. I'm literally talking about my lifestyle. I started just paying attention to my lifestyle. And if you're on medication, you focus on medication, diet, and exercise. When you have a chronic health condition, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. But here's the thing that's very, very important, and I want y'all to hear this. What often goes unaddressed, again, are the behavior and emotional patterns that's really driving the condition. Lady, what are you talking about? If you, and I've been there, if you are working on the things that you put in your mouth and the scale is still not moving, if you are moving differently, as in I wasn't exercising at all and now I'm making some moves, like I'm doing some things now to shift, and the scale is still not moving. If you are on some type of medication and you still feel like, come on now, come on now. Our behavior and emotional patterns are the underdrive, or what's driving the actual conditions. Things like, if you are a worrywart, if you're always worried, if you're experiencing burnout in your workplace, in your relationships, if you're experiencing burnout, chronic worry, or I know a lot of people who are caregivers. Caregiving contributes to your stress level. I want you to acknowledge that and understand that as a caregiver, you have an increased rate of being chronically stressed because you're navigating not only your life, but you're navigating the care concerns of someone else. And so emotional and behavior things that we don't think about when we're trying to take care of our health, unresolved anxiety. Some people are anxious about everything. And when you're overworked, when you're overtaxed, when you are that person that everybody go to, it comes back to our behavior and our emotional patterns. Am I always worried? So when you do this, you cannot separate your emotional world from your physical health. If you're worried all the time, it's going to impact your physical health. If you are worried all the time, it's going to impact your physical health. There's a book out there. The name of the book is The Body Keeps Score. I want you to type that in the comments. You cannot escape it. If you are worried, burnt out, if you're chronically stressed, the body keeps score. That's an intentional pause. I want you to hear that the body keeps score. And so if you're managing a chronic condition, I want you to ask yourself this question. What stress patterns may be affecting my health right now? Are you a caregiver? Are you navigating some major decisions? Worry causes stress and heart attacks. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I have a thank you so much for saying that. Absolutely. You can be well enough to live and sick enough to die and not even know that. You can be well enough to live and sick enough to die. Type that in the comments. I can look well enough to live and die of a massive heart attack right now today as a result of chronic stress that's been unresolved. The body keeps score. If you're chronically tired, the body keeps score. If you're keeping headaches, stop popping them pills and assess your level of stress. The body keeps score. I think this my Facebook person said, worry causes stress. What are you worried about? What stress patterns are impacting your health? That's what I want you to reflect on this weekend while you chilling. Don't worry about that laundry. That laundry gonna be okay. Think about your health. Y'all be stressed out because you got clothes on the couch, you got company coming over. First of all, if you got to clean up like that because company coming over, what kind of people come to your house? Do they not know that people live here? I'm not saying that you have stuff everywhere, but don't overstress yourself trying to be perfect. All these perfections. I can look, yes, you can, baby, you can look well enough to live and sick enough to die. Many people, heart, stop. Just stop. Heart attack. Sometimes it's unsurvivable. Sometimes they don't come back. Sometimes there is no survival rate for that. They don't survive. So I want us to understand that a hidden thing in our health conditions is stress. So let me give you 3 steps that you can start this week. Has this been helpful to y'all? Understanding that stress is not a feeling, it's a biological response. And if it goes unchecked, my blood pressure gonna stay up, my cortisol is gonna be released, adrenaline is gonna be in flow. That's like fight or flight. You're not supposed to be in fight or flight mode all the time. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. CEO, executive director, administrators, presidents of organizations, whoever you are, nurse, doctor, whoever you are, parent, stay-at-home mom, you're not supposed to be in a fight or flight mode all the time. So let me give you 3 simple steps that you can start this week. Number 1, type this in the comment. Identify your stress triggers. Number 1, identify your stress triggers. We're in what I call autopilot mode all the time. Baby, I wake up and I go, this is what I do. I'm going to make it happen, babe. I'm going to make it happen, Calvin. I'm the one that make it happen, Calvin. You're the one that's making it happen at the expense of your health. Yes, we have roles and responsibilities in this life. And I'm asking you, as you're navigating your many roles and responsibilities, take a pause, pump the brakes, and evaluate where you are in your health. Identify your stress triggers. Ask yourself, what situations constantly create tension in my body? Because sometimes we say like, oh, it's just, just give me a minute. No, I want you to learn to, as they say, sit with yourself. What is your body saying? Awareness is the first step. If you're not paying attention to your body, you in this mode all the time that you normalize being in survival mode. We have normalized being in survival mode. Oh, she just a go-getter. She high energy. That's not a badge of honor. That is a risk, increasing your risk for a cardiac condition. Let me say this. Before I left the place that I previously worked at, I retired last year from working for a government agencies, and now I have my own business. But let me say this: before I retired, I knew personally, of 5 people. Y'all see, I got 2 hands up. I knew of 5 people personally who died of massive heart attacks as a result of chronic stress, work-related issues. So I want you to understand that, yes, we need to work. Yes, there are things that we need to do to take care of ourselves and our families. However, I also need to take care of my health so that I can show up, so that I can be this well soul in these spaces. So I want you to learn how to identify your stress triggers. What situation is consistently, not every now and then, but consistently causing tension in your body? If your blood pressure rises, if you get them butterflies in your stomach at every situation, and only you know what that situation is, take notice of that. Take notice of what's happening in your body. Number two, your body needs time to exit survival mode. Type that in the comment. Create recovery time. Create daily recovery time, not the weekend. I want you all to consider, stop waiting till the weekend to relax. Create a daily recovery time. If you were catching me back in January where I talked about the rest framework and how we have a morning routine and an evening routine, I want you to build in that a daily recovery time. So number two, your second action step is to create a daily recovery time. Even 10 minutes of intentional recovery can help your blood pressure. Okay. It can help reduce your stress. And let's be practical. Here are some examples. If you don't know what I mean, when I say create recovery, I want you to allow your body to recover. Number one, think about deep breathing. And let's do a quick practice. When I say deep breathing, you can do 3 or 4 rounds of this. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. About 4 rounds of that, 3 or 4 times a day, really helps reset your nervous system. To the fact and to what I know to be true, it helps you with your blood pressure. When you allow yourself to take those deep breaths, if your blood pressure is up, you sit and you do some breath work and check your blood pressure maybe an hour later after you've done that breath work, see if your numbers are different. So I want you to create daily recovery time. Deep breathing. If you are physically able, I'm inviting you as a part of your recovery time to do some walking or quiet reflection. No noise, no TV, just you. And if you can't sit quiet, just some instrumental music without the words. We don't want nobody else's thoughts during this time. We want just a quiet reflection. And another way that you can recover is to stretch. I want to be real practical here. Sit on the floor, or if you're sitting and you can just stretch your arms out. When it was the last time that you've done some stretching? Tammy says on Facebook, meditation. Do some morning meditation, evening meditation, or throughout the day. But I'm inviting you to not wait until the weekend. Create daily recovery time. That's number 2. And then number 3, start tracking your stress patterns. Pay attention when your symptoms increase. That's number 3. Number 1, identify your stress triggers, because if you don't know what's consistently causing you stress, like if somebody call you and you getting stressed out every time they call, that's a trigger. Like, oh, here go the phone ring. Oh my goodness, or on Sunday nights before you get ready and you're trying to get ready for work and you get tension every Sunday night, evaluate that trigger, right? We're talking long term. We're not talking about some short term stuff. Number 1, identify your triggers. Number 2, I invited you to create a daily recovery time. And then number 3, track stress patterns. I want you to pay attention, like I said, when symptoms increase, such as if you notice an increase in your headaches. I'm just getting this headache out of nowhere. Is it really out of nowhere? Someone I love and respect keep telling me stuff don't sneak up on you. Headaches don't sneak up on us. If you notice that you are increasingly tired, if you are increasingly fatigued, like you really have low energy all the time, pay attention. If you notice a increase in cravings for something you have not been craving, you hadn't had it. If you notice an increase in those cravings, we talked about that. The sugary foods, the fat foods, we talked about that. And number 4, if you notice you irritable all the time, pay attention to these things. Track your stress patterns, okay? So That's your assignment. Think about identifying your stress triggers, creating a daily, these are your action steps. Create a daily recovery time so that your body can recover. Again, we're talking about the hidden things that contribute to or make your conditions worse when you're already battling a chronic health condition. If you're already battling high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, or you have weight gain and the weight not moving, chronic stress could be the culprit. Okay. And so here's what I want you to remember from today. Here is what I want you to remember from today. Here are your takeaways. You got your assignment, you got your action steps, but here's what I want you to remember. I want you to remember chronic disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, carrying excess weight is not only about medication and diet. Type that in the comment. Chronic disease is more than medication and diet. I really want you all to understand the takeaway message from today is it's also about us really understanding behavior and emotional patterns that influence our health. We do not estimate the proper cost of chronic stress. And so when we really begin to address stress, behavior, and our lifestyle patterns together, we move forward in what I call integrated health. I'm going to say that again. When we begin to address stress, particularly chronic stress, our behaviors and lifestyle patterns together, I'm talking together, we move toward integrated health. It's not separated, it's integrated. And so, if this conversation helped you today, I want you to share this with someone navigating a chronic health condition. If you know someone that's been struggling with high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, they're carrying excess weight and the weight won't move, they own some type of injection, or they own some kind of pill. The doctor said, you take this gonna help you out. Listen, and the stuff still ain't moving. It's not just because you don't have discipline. It's not just because you're not trying. Don't let people guilt you into thinking you're not trying. That's not true. Don't let people guilt you into feeling you don't have any discipline. That's not true. You're doing the best that you can with what you know. That's the truth. May I submit to you, you do the best that you can with what you know. You do the best that you can in the environments that you have. So we want to create conditions for you to thrive. And in order to do that, we got to start paying attention to our bodies. We underestimate the value of stress. Stress has a high value that complicates our health conditions. So again, if this conversation has helped you, make sure you share this with someone who's navigating a chronic health condition, because they may be on the verge of saying, I just give up, forget this thing. And they don't have to. You don't have to journey alone thinking that I can't do this, because you really can. You're not a failure because the weight is not moving, the scale is not moving. Are you stressed out? Are you in a situation where you're chronically stressed, right? And so make sure you pull up next Friday, because we're going to be talking about something many people experience after a diagnosis, but rarely ever discuss. We're leaning into integrated health. We're leaning into chronic conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol. And when this weight is not moving, it's not that you're not trying, people. It's not that you're not trying, fam. Don't be hoodwinked, tricked, and bamboozled like you ain't trying. You need to just do better. No. There are things that we don't calculate that we're going to be talking about. There's an emotional impact of being told you have a chronic condition or chronic disease. People have to process all this stuff. It takes a toll on your life. When you can no longer do the things that you used to do comfortably, that takes a toll on your life. And so this morning, if this has been helpful, if you'll just drop one takeaway in the comments, something that you're walking away with today, something that you're going to practice today. And I would again ask you to do me this solid and share this content out. If it has resonated with you in any kind of way, if you found one nugget that was beneficial to you, make sure you share this information out. It is your girl, Coach Regina. Also, licensed clinical social worker, pulling up with integrated behavioral health information so that we can understand that we cannot separate our physical health from our biological as well as our behavior health. All this stuff goes together, and I'm going to be breaking that down for you so you can understand, good, why that stay scale not moving? Good, why I'm on these medications? It's more than just diet and exercise. That's my message for you. Calculate your stress, pay attention to your body, create you a daily recovery, because I'm going to leave you on this note. I really want you to recover the recoverable. In your health, I'm inviting you to recover the recoverable. And we can recover our health. I will talk to you all later. I will see you next Friday, 6 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. It's your girl, Coach Regina, your lifestyle behavior specialist, pulling up, and we're having conversations about how do we integrate this thing. We ain't doing nothing in isolation. We're going to start having these integrated conversations. Stop waiting to the weekend to recover your health. Woosah every single day. I'll talk to y'all later. And again, do me a solid and share this out. Have a great weekend.